You guys actually have no idea the struggle I just went through to prop up this, oh my hair looks bad, to prop up my phone against something. It is so difficult to keep it in a place that's actually like usable. Hello everyone, my name is Janelle and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to switch things up a little bit. I have been doing a lot of K-pop and regular album reviews and stuff, and so I decided I didn't want to film another one of those. I've got a ton of them lined up, but I was like, you know what, let's try something different. And one of my favorite blogs on Tumblr, Gamer Woos, and she reblogged this unusual K-pop asks question from this one Tumblr account. I'm going to link it down below, but she has this unusual K-pop questions ask, and there's 26 questions. It's based on the alphabet, and I just thought, like, it's different, it's something new. I love doing Q&As. I'm very excited for this video. I hope you guys enjoy it as well. Again, if you want me to do any other sort of Q&As, K-pop or non-K-pop related, then I can always do those. But I'm very excited for this, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So the way that this particular Tumblr blog has it, like all the questions lined up, is she has it in alphabetical order. I'm just gonna go like 1 to 26. So the first question is something really attractive that your bias does. Now this is a little bit tricky because I have a lot of biases. I'm what we call a multi-stan, or I'm a multi-fandom kind of person, which means I bias more than one group, which means I'll have more than one bias, more than one ultimate bias. I actually have a list of like my top 10 favorite ults. If you guys want to see that as well, let me know down below. The questions in particular, I'm gonna go kind of pretty general. I didn't really want to think of something that every single one of my bias does, like in particular. Typically your biases have some sort of similarities to them. So I'm going by all of my ults, and I'm basically picking out something that I've noticed in all of them in the majority of these cases. So for the first question, something I find really attractive, one of my favorite things about all of my biases is when they look at fans. There's something about the way that their eyes look, and I'm sure this is true for every idol ever, but something I find personally really attractive is just the way that they look at fans. It just makes your heart swoon. Not in a bad way, but it's just like, oh, you can see how much love and support they have for their fans, and it's just, that's something that makes my heart flutter a lot. It's usually, that's one of the things that turns someone into my ult, is just when they're looking at fans and they're interacting with fans. There's something about the way that they do it that makes me kind of like fall in love with them every single time. Number 2, what is your favorite physical feature of your bias? In every single case, it's their eyes. I like eyes a lot. That's my personal, that's one of my favorite facial features on anybody. So a lot of people really like colored eyes, you know, blue eyes, hazel, green. I really love brown eyes. I really do, because there's something, this is gonna sound so gross, and this is the fanfic writer in me screaming. There's something about the way that it kind of sparkles when the light hits it just right, you know? It's there's so much depth, I think, in brown eyes that I think are so overlooked, because brown eyes are pretty common around the world. So it's you find someone with blue eyes or green eyes or hazel eyes, something like that, gray eyes, it's different, but I love the depth that brown eyes give. The idols, I obviously they wear colored contacts sometimes, and you know, sometimes that hits you a little too hard, but overall I really love their natural brown eye color. I think it's absolutely beautiful. The only thing I hate about brown eyes is that we don't have a good description. I hate when people describe it as chocolate brown. I don't know what it is. I hate it. But it's you know, you got as blue as the sky, and green eyes get forest green, and hazel is just these different specks of different colors, and I was what do brown eyes got? Doodle brown? I don't. Number 3 is a color that you think your bias looks good in. Black. I think black suits everybody. My biggest weakness in just anybody in general, I think it's all black, but the black shirt, it's a black button up with the collar, right? And a long sleeve shirt, and they roll up the sleeves. That I think is attractive on quite literally everybody. So when there's this one black on black stage by NCT. This is when they were doing their 2018 project. There's this one black on black stage where Mark Lee, he's my ult in NCT, Love My Life #2, he wore this like button, like he basically wore something similar to what I was talking about. I can link that video below, and like that is my favorite black on black video from the entire promotional time. That one's my favorite because the outfits were incredible. But black in general I think looks really nice on everybody. But if we're going for like an actual color, I think that like blues and purples look really nice. Number 4 is your favorite dance. One of my absolute favorite dances is Bonamana by Super Junior. I don't know what it is about that particular choreography. I'm like in love with it. I think it's incredible. I think it's so good. It's quite hard actually, and considering like I'm thinking about Kim Hee-chul, who's my ult in Super Junior, he had a car accident in like 2006. He had to do this whole dance for Bonamana. Like, I can't imagine how difficult that must have been, because he says, even to this day, this is like, what, 14, 15 years later after the accident, he says his leg still bothers him, so I can't imagine dancing on that to Bonamana. Limitless by NCT 127 is another one of my absolute favorite choreographies. I saw it when I went to KCON 2018, and I did see it when I saw NCT for their own concert. I still really love that choreography, as well as 127's version, or NCT 127's comeback choreography, / Wavy, because Wavy also has a rendition. So there's the original Japanese version that 127 did when they released Chain. There is the Korean version that 127 has done, and then there's the Chinese version that Wavy's done. Either way, the choreography is pretty much the same. My favorite 17, I have 2 favorite 17 choreographies. The first one is Hit by 17. Hoshi, who is the love of my life number 3, he says that that's one of the hardest choreographies that they've done. But I think the only thing that possibly beats that is Sumicha, or Getting Closer. That song's my shit, bro. I absolutely adore that song. I mentioned it in my 17 ranking video for You Made My Dawn and You Make My Day, which I will link as well down below. That's a song I listen to pretty consistently, but the choreography is also something that I really love about that song. It's why it's one of my favorites. I tend to like some of the girl group choreographies more for more fun stuff. Like, they have their serious choreographies, but overall girl group dances tend to be easier. Anything by Twice. I'm like low-key a once. I love Twice. I really do. I love their choreography. Like Ooh-Ah is probably my favorite Twice choreo, but I also really love, like, you know, doing TT. It's just funny. Like, Cheer Up is really fun. Girls' Generation's Holiday, which was their 10-year anniversary song. That is one of my absolute favorite choreographies. Totally a slept-on song by Girls' Generation because SM sucks and didn't promote it at all. I think my favorite choreography that's one of the more intricate ones that I've seen, or at least one of the more intricate ones at its time, and even they say it's like their hardest choreo, it's Everybody by SHINee. That's the song that basically turned my brother into a shy wall. Number 5, an idol to get along with. Basically anybody who's part of an American line, I feel like I would get along with, obviously because we're all foreigners. That would be like Amber from FX, Jay from Day 6, Kevin Woo, Jamie, she's part of 15 and Haley, I think I would get along with really well. Eric Nam, Amara Taekong from GOT7, so Jackson, Mark, and Bam Bam I think I would get along with pretty well. BM from Card. Stray Kids, it would be Christopher and Felix, Bangchan and Felix. Johnny from NCT. Anybody whose like initial language is English, I think I would get along with easiest, just because like we have that culture, the cultural gap isn't as large. I didn't say Joshua and Vernon from 17. That's because despite the fact that they speak English, I feel like our personalities are still different. I feel like I would get along with them as well, but I think personally, if like pretending I spoke Korean or they spoke English, honestly, I feel like personally I'd get along with 17's Hoshi and Woozi a lot better. That's partially because we are very similar personality types. So I'm the same. I took an MBTI test. I'm an INFPA, I believe. And that is very similar to what Hoshi has. Hoshi is also an INFP, and Woozi is an INFJ. When I initially took an MBTI test, I took the free ones, by the way. What I did, because they're free and they may not necessarily be like psychologically accurate, I just took a ton of them and saw which results I had most frequently. So I flip-flop between INFP, INFJ, depending on the test. I just feel like I get along with them really well because all our personalities are very much the same. I'm also, Josh and Vernon are also extroverts. I am not an extrovert. I am very much an introvert. I get comfortable and then I never shut up. But that's kind of like how Hoshi and Muzi are, especially Hoshi. So I feel like I'd get along with them. Mark Lee, I feel like, is spot on like me. And I'm not just saying that because he's one of my biases, but I genuinely feel like him and Johnny, if I had known them in person, like if I had went to high school with those kinds of guys, I feel like I absolutely, one, would have developed a crush on them eventually, but also I feel like I would have just wanted to be like best friends with them because they give me best friend vibes. Like those two in particular, but especially Mark. I feel like it would be so easy to get along with him for me personally. Like I feel like if I'd met him now, I could still get along with him, especially because he grew up partially in New York. He was born in Canada, but he grew up in New York, so I feel like he kind of understands, like, we have that New York thing, you know. Number 6 is the first group you loved. The first group I officially fell in love with, that I was like, I'm part of their fandom, is EXO. The first groups that I listened to that I liked to get me into K-pop was Girls' Generation, 2AM, 2PM, Super Junior, and SHINee. But the first group that I was like, I'm down the rabbit hole, was EXO. Number 7, a group that you wish you could see more of on your dash. So there are 2 groups in mind. It's Golden Child and SF9. I think both of them are pretty underrated. SF9 I think is getting a little bit bigger now, but Golden Child is super, super underrated. They're the Hubes of Infinite, who I also really love. But I wish I saw more of them on my feed just because I feel like they're so underrated, and sometimes I feel like I'm still sleeping on them, even though I'm part of both of their fandoms. I accidentally became a Fantasy, which is SF9's fan base, and I'm so mad because I could have met SF9 when I went to KCON 2019. I've met Golden Child, actually, and they're super, super sweet. Their music is fantastic, and I wish more people stand them. Number 8 is the best hairstyle your bias has ever had. It is always black hair, like Monster era Baekhyun, dead. Absolutely dead. Either black hair or like dark brown hair. It depends on the idol, because sometimes I think if they're super, super pale, I think black hair can be a little too stark of a difference. So sometimes it'll be like dark brown, but like I prefer personally more of the natural colors. There are some colors where I'm like, okay, they totally killed it, like Sehun from EXO when they were promoting for Wolf and he had the rainbow hair. I think it totally works, but I prefer like a black hair, like just something that doesn't have to look super done. Like they don't have, like basically what their natural hair looks like. Number 9, the most interesting voice or style in K-pop. I think the most interesting voice and style in K-pop is Super Junior KRY, which is Kyuhyun, Rywook, and Yesung. I think they have the best vocals in K-pop. And I think theirs is also the most interesting to me just because all 3 of them work very well together, but they're very distinctive voices. Like when one of them sings, it's hard to find other idols who sound similar enough to them where you could confuse them. Like when I think all 3 of them were on The King of Masked Singer, like you heard their voice, and if you're a fan of them, you automatically know, like, that's Rywook, that's Yesung, that's Kyuhyun. Number 10, a group you love to jam out to. It honestly depends on where I am in terms of who I'm fangirling over right now, because all of my groups I really love to jam out to, but there are some moments where I'm like, I'll jam more to this group than to others. On the Spotify, like, year in a glance type of thing, you'll see by season it'll change drastically. Right now, I'm listening to a lot of 17. I'm still in my 17 phase. I was listening to a lot of Stray Kids as well. It just depends. It's less of a group and more of individual songs. Right now, it's 17 and Stray Kids. Number 11, my favorite non-Korean idol. There's a couple different like ways I took this. I took it as my favorite non-Korean idol just in general, and then I took one of my favorite non-Korean idol in a K-pop group. I did it this way because I was rewatching season 1 of Idol Producer because I hate myself, and I've fallen in love with my boys again. My favorite non-Korean idols, I have a couple of them. So I have 2 from Yueha Entertainment, which is Ju Jung-ting and Byung-jun. Byung-jun is, I love him. I really do. Like, he is like a dream to me. They're in the group called Next, and they promote mostly in China, but they also like do speak Korean. Actually, Jungting and another person in their group, Justin, were in season 2 of Produce 101, the one that formed 101. I think some of the members of Next are pretty fluent in Korean. Not all of them are, but they at least have some sort of understanding. I really love them. I also really love Chin Fun, who is a friend of Jackson from GOT7, and I love his personality as well. My favorite non-Korean idol is Sae-shu-kun, because of course it is. Two that are non-Korean but in a K-pop group. One of them I'm cheating. Cho Jae-chung, she used to be in Kristen, and then Pledis did them. So dirty. I said this in another video, but they did Kristen so dirty, and I'm so mad. But I love Jae-chung. She's like one of my favorite. She's just one of my favorite like female idols. I'm not a total boy group stan. I do like girl groups a lot, but I tend to stray towards boy groups more. But she's like one of my favorite idols that like I would drop dead for her. Okay, like Mark Lee ain't got nothing on her. But my other favorite non-Korean idol in a K-pop group is Yixing, or Lay from EXO. He's the sole reason I watched Idol Producer at first. Number 12, your favorite line from a song. Honestly, sometimes I don't look up the translations of the songs that I listen to in K-pop. It's nice to know what they're saying, but to me, I find sometimes when you translate it into English, it kind of loses that nuance that it had originally in Korean, which is why like a lot of my favorite quotes from songs, a lot of them are in English because I relate to that more because that's my native language. Obviously, it's still in the same thing, but I think sometimes the translation is just odd. My favorite line from a song is from EXO. It's Chogiwa. I'm totally joking. Some of my favorite lines come from Stray Kids, and I think that's just because Stray Kids for a while didn't write about love songs. I think Stray Kids for a while didn't do that because they wanted to write about themselves and write about their real struggles. One of my favorite lines is from, originally Three Racha had done it as a music that they released, Broken Compass, and then it turned into mixtape number 4, so there's an OT9 version and a Three Racha version, but the line is still the same. It's, as long as I stay with my heart, I can rely on a broken compass. And if you look at the context of the rest of the song, I think it's just an absolutely beautiful message. Like, so long as you have each other, so long as you have something worth driving for, you can, even if your life is going in directions that you're unsure of, you can still, everything's still going to be okay. The other song, which is something I think a lot of people love as well, it's Voices. The line "Step Out of the Voices," which to me, it's like it's a song that hits, I get stuck in my head a lot, and so that's a song, especially, just that line kind of reminds you to like take a step back. Number 13 is your favorite maknae, and I mentioned this in my Stray Kids video. Most of my faves, like most of my ults, are maknaes, so this was actually a really difficult question for me. In my notes, I have just in all caps screaming because all of my biases are maknaes. But I think my all-time favorite maknae is Taemin from SHINee. Sometimes it's easy to forget that he is a maknae, but he's like the original. Him and Kyuhyun from Super Junior are like the original evil maknaes. I think he's a really well-versed idol, but he's also such a sweetheart. He is so dumb. His friendship with Chongin or Kai from EXO, like that is like the definition of dumb and dumber. Number 14 is the best or catchiest name or stage name. I don't really have a like best or catchiest name, but my favorite stage name is also from SHINee. It's Onyu, so that's Jinky's stage name. I just think it's got such a beautiful message behind it. After Chonghyun had passed, may he rest in peace, he actually changed the Korean spelling of it to say O, which O is 5. I'm pretty sure that stems from Chinese. His stage name is meant to have like a soft and gentle personality, and it's also supposed to exemplify the smooth and gentle tone of his voice, and now it represents that there's 5 of them. I also really love Suho from EXO, who's also their leader. Suho means like guardian and protector, so he's gonna protect EXO. Like, I just think that's so sweet. What I find hilarious, I'm not an ARMY, I'm actually not a fan of BTS. Controversial statement. I'm not a fan of BTS, but what does make me laugh is when Namjoon. I actually hate Bangtan stage names. I absolutely hate them because I think, not the people, I love the people themselves. Jungkook is like my secret love affair bias. Don't tell my biases. I think their stage names are so dumb. I hate all of them. I hate every single one of them. I've never referred to BTS by their stage name because I think they're all so stupid sounding. I hate them. I hate them. I absolutely hate them. I call them all by their real names, and I always have. My favorite thing is when Namjoon talks about, like, his stage name used to be Rap Monster and he changed it to RM. People talk about, like, oh, what would you tell yourself in the past? And he's just, don't call yourself Rap Monster. I think that's hilarious. I think they've also got some pretty, like, unique names. But it's like, I mean, you've got, like, the letter line. There's, like, Q from The Boys, Y from Golden Child, V from BTS. Then you've got the 2 letters, so like IM from Monsta X, like RM from BTS, JB from GOT7, you know, like we've got the letter line. So number 15, another occupation you could see your bias being. Honestly, I can't see them as anything but being musicians. This is where they belong to me. I honestly can't see them as anything outside of music. Like Hoshi, I could never see him as anything other than like a choreographer. Number 16 is your favorite photo shoot. It is hard for me to do this because I don't like follow photo shoots really closely. There's a couple of neighbor ones that I like. Dispatch as a company is like, I think one of my favorite photo shoots, like in terms of era, is Shootout by Monsta X. 17, a quality of your bias that you absolutely love. I think it's just their passion for what they do, and this is for all of them. They're very, very passionate about music, and they really throw themselves into it, and you can tell. And it's like, there's a difference between someone doing something for the sake of it and someone doing something because they love it, and now they happen to be doing it for a living. I think they're all absolutely incredible at what they do, but I think it's just, you know, them being them. That's one of my favorite qualities. Their passion for their music and for their work, but also just, you know, them being unapologetically them. Number 18, best rapper or best rapper line. The answers like immediately popped out into my mind. I think it also depends on generation. I think the best rapper is G-Dragon. No, like hands down. I think you can fight me on that. I think the best rapper in the industry is G-Dragon. I really do. A part of this generation, I believe, or like the end of the 3rd gen, is Joohan from Monsta X. I think he is one super, super unique, but also he can spit fire. I think Joohan is personally one of the best rappers in the industry. I think G-Dragon's probably one of the only ones that top Joohan, but Joohan, absolutely. And I think the best rap line is Stray Kids. 3 Racha, but especially Changbin and Jisung. There's a video of them when they were doing that survival show, and they were rapping in front of YG. YG is known for rapping. JYP is very much not. YG is actually where G-Dragon was because he's part of Big Bang. And YG is known for great rapping, and even he was like, you guys are great rappers. You can like see it in his eyes like, damn, they should have been in my company. I think those are the best rappers and the best rap line in the industry. Number 19, a song that never fails to get stuck in your head. I Am You by Stray Kids. I don't know what it is, but I'm literally in my head, I'm always like, I am you, I see me and you. I don't know why. It's stuck in my head right now. I pre-wrote my answers, and I was like, what's a song that's always stuck in my head? And immediately I Am You came on. It's a great song, but it's just always playing. And I don't know why, considering it's not one of the Stray Kids songs I tend to listen to more. Like, I tend to listen to, like, Miro and Boxer and like more of the hardcore songs, and just I am you, I see me and you. Number 20, your favorite hidden talent an idol has shown. My favorite hidden talent by an idol, so it's Byunjin. He's not technically K-pop, but I included it because they are also considered idols. He used to compete in yo-yo competitions. Like, the kid can like do a ton of tricks with the yo-yo, and it's so unique to me because it's like, who, obviously people do it, but he like actually placed like 3rd or something in an international yo-yo competition. It's really interesting because he gets so into it and he's so casual, and it's like, I'm really clumsy, so like I would tangle the shit out of that thing, but it's really, really cool. I really like it when they beatbox. It's not a hidden talent, but I like beatboxing. I think it's really cool, and I think anybody who b-boys is really cool, so I think, you know, like Minghao or the 8 from 17, JB from GOT7, wow. I'm mentioning JV so much. Kong Daniel, anybody who b-boys I think is really fascinating. I grew up around a lot of b-boyers, my cousin and a lot of his friends, a lot of them were b-boys. That was like something I vividly remember, and I remember I used to b-boy actually. I really loved it. I learned a lot of the basics and I was like decent at it, but my mom thought it was dangerous, so she made me stop. 21, the most unusual group. It's GOT7. GOT7 or BTOB. There's like no doubt in my mind. Like they are something. Number 22, the best or the sexiest voice. Again, I think the best voice, like the best vocal lines can be found in SM. Of course biased, but I truly think like some of the most unique vocals come from SM. But I think my favorite vocalist in K-pop is Rywook from Super Junior. Number 23, something you wonder about. This is more for foreign idols that especially come from like the US or that come from Canada. Like, my question is like, why did you choose K-pop instead of going into like typical Western pop? Why choose K-pop instead of choosing the path as other people if you grew up in America? Like Johnny from NCT grew up in Chicago. Like why'd you choose to audition for SM Entertainment as opposed to like Columbia Records or something? Number 24, your favorite cross-group friendship. SM Town's relationship, JYP Nation's relationship. My 3 favorite relationships actually. It's Monsta X and 17. Their groups are so closely intertwined that we call them Monteen. Their fans, like me, are carrot babies. I love how close their friendship is. I also really love Eric Nam, Ailey, and Amber from FX. Anybody who was on ASC, so Jamie, Eric Nam, Kevin, and Jay. Them I really love as well. And of course, like 97 line. BTS's Jungkook. GOT7's Yugyeom and Bam Bam, NCT's Chaeyeon, 17's DK, The 8, and Mingyu, and Astro's Cha Eunwoo. Number 25, the last music video you watched on YouTube. It was Beautiful by Monsta X. That's one of my favorite songs by Monsta X, one of my favorite titles at least. Shine Forever, the repackage, is one of my favorite Monsta X albums, like Shine Forever, Beautiful. And number 26, not related to Z, but your favorite K-pop vlogs. The ones that I for sure know right now is Gamer Woo, Woozy Newts, Cupid House, Baby Mingyu, leejihoonownsmyheart, K Llama Llama. She does a lot of additional characters into groups. All of these I found through fan fiction.
Hello, yes, this is editing Janelle. I have an exam in probably like 2 hours, and instead I'm editing a video. So this is basically just adding on to the very last question. When I originally filmed it, I kind of filmed it with the intention of me adding something on, because I just kind of felt like some of my favorite blogs didn't really get the attention they deserved. So I still do appreciate all of the ones that I mentioned before. They all have, if you're into fanfiction, they all have some really great series that you should definitely check out. Also, I would like to note these are all 17, or mostly 17 based vlogs. That's how I found them, but a lot of them are also multi-stands. So here are a couple of other Tumblr vlogs that I really wanted to shed a light on. So there's Full Hoon, has one of my absolute favorite Woozy stories. I look forward to her updates every single Saturday. I absolutely adore her. There's House 17, also an incredible blog. I've read so many stories that she's written. They're all absolutely fantastic. The Woozy one that she's doing right now is something that I've really been excited for. The Joshua one was incredible, so you should really check her out. A lot of these are also social media fics, by the way, if you care. There's also Choli Writes, who has written something, oh my god, it's so good. I literally comment on almost every single, if not every single chapter. Then there's bloomsuga, which she's more of a BTS vlog. I read a surprising amount of BTS fanfic just because I think the writing is so good. She has this incredible series that she has on her blog. Every single member, and basically the common factor is Hobie in it, and Hobie's basically like working for a higher up. So your name insert, he has to pair her with whatever member is for that particular series. I've read the entire series. Right now she's currently updating her Hobie one. It's the last one in the series. My favorites are the Jungkook one, the Yoongi one, the Jin one, and then the Jungkook spin-off of the Jin one. They're all absolutely incredible. Then there's also Viastro. Again, adore all of her works. I've read literally every single one of them. This is what I do with my time instead of studying, guys. And there's also Excelsi-or. This is one of my absolute favorite things. Her story is about Jihoon having a daughter and the mother's not in the picture and he meets your name, dealing with his daughter and dealing with being in 17, but also dealing with a relationship at the same time. It's really fascinating. You guys should definitely check it out. The last person that I really want to highlight is maknae. She has this incredible series that's called Made with Love, and it's a Mingyu based story right now. It's like a Mingyu, a lot of these are like love triangles and stuff, but I think her works are incredible. These are all vlogs, and the ones I mentioned before in the original like filming of the video. You should definitely check every single one of these blogs out if you are interested in either fanfiction, 17, multi-stands, but just in general, they are some amazing people and you should definitely check them out.
Well, that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love doing Q&As, like I said before. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you can like the video, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you want to, and if you really want to, you can hit the bell so you can see when I upload for post notifications. Or you can follow me on all of my socials. My Twitter is JanelleTheKid, my Instagram is JanellethekidVlogs, and my Tumblr is swimmingismywholelife.tumblr.com. That was so hard to get out considering I do that every single video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, night, afternoon, whenever the hell you're watching this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!